good evening, and welcome to another edition number 16. 16, can you believe we've been doing this for 16 weeks?
16 weeks.
Crazy. So, welcome to the latest episode of Shooting the Shit with me, Lee, the Dorset Spur. I am again surrounded by my very good friends from the great county of Essex, the Essex boys. Here he is. How you boys doing? You all right?
We're all good.
All for the better seeing you, Lee. All for the better seeing you.
Nice.
In your non-cerise top or your Arsenal shirt or whatever it is you had on last week.
It was cerise.
It was red. It was red.
It
was red. All those watching, hands up. All those that are watching, hands up. If you think it was red. They said red. There you go.
No one. I'm not arguing.
Comment if you think it was red. Comment if you think it was red.
You should never argue with stupid people because they will beat you with experience. So I'm not arguing with you. So
West Ham trainers.
Gonna leave it there. Moving swiftly on. Hello, Dean. How are you, my old friend? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm not bad. I'm all right. I'm chuffed to be able to sit down and start talking about a bit of football again. After the week we've had, I think there's plenty to talk about. I will put a little thing out there just to say, listen, I've got to hold my hands up and say I didn't watch the game on Sunday. I watched bits and pieces because I had a stream on, but I was working. So I didn't get to see the whole game.
Sorry. Lisa, what a stream on?
Yeah, a stream.
Oh, right. Is that what you call it these days? A stream on. All right, okay.
A stream. But you'll bring this down. I'm going to throw you off in a minute. You carry on. I'm going to throw you off. No, listen. I was watching it on a live stream on the TV, bits and pieces here and there, but I wasn't able to watch the whole game. So I've only really seen the highlights. And as I said just before we started, the highlights were about 4 minutes long. Which kind of tells me I probably haven't missed an awful lot in this game. So I'm kind of going to be relying on you boys to kind of talk about it, kind of bring me through the whole thing, give me a little bit of something to make me feel better, I guess, about the whole situation. So Dean, are you going to make me feel better about that game or not?
Nope.
No, he wasn't happy on the day.
I'm taking that as a no, that silence, or have you just broken up?
No, it was it was just flat. Absolutely flat.
Flat as his first bird.
Hey, mate, honestly, it was absolutely there was nothing to get excited about, So, you doing well just being on your stream. But no, it was there's not much to talk honestly, there is not much to talk about on that game because it was ridiculous, so slow, and Fulham deserved the win. If you was asking me, because they were better than us all across the pitch. They want that, the speed they were playing out was so much better than us. But everything, the build up and everything that we did was so slow, which is not supposed to be like the way Ange is playing, but. I do get it. I mean, we've got so many players out, but it still doesn't excuse the way we play. We should have had a lot more confidence. We should have had, a lot more exertive. It's just not good.
That's really disappointing because I was expecting you to really cheer me up, and then you've done is just brought me right down, you miserable old git. Right, look, I'll tell you. Let's start off then. Let's start off with the first question, right? So the starting 11, okay? Starting 11. Obviously, we found out that Solanke was sent home for not feeling very well, which in my mind is a massive, massive blow. And then Kulu was being rested. So when we first saw that squad, what was your views on that? Mason, what was your views when you first saw that lineup?
I thought the lineup surprised me, if I'm being honest. I didn't think I'd be seeing Son leading the line on that day. But I think Solanke's coming back. I think it literally only was just a cold. But the lineup did surprise me. But then again, we are down to bare bones. You are going to get surprises like that. But Kulusevski being rest, I get it because we have got a lot of games coming up, 2 important games, Rangers and Chelsea. And if I'm being honest, I'd rather him be fit for them 2 games than drop him against Fulham. If you know what I mean? Just Chelsea, it's a must-win game or a must get a point out of. Rangers as well. It's a must-win game because I think if we lose to Rangers, we go into the playoff bracket, which isn't good. That's more games for our players, and they're tired as it is. So I think Kulusevski being rested was clever, but you can definitely see the effects of him not being on the pitch.
Yeah. Alex, what did you think when you looked at that squad? Was you concerned? I mean, thinking about the bench as well. I mean, it seemed really, really light on there.
I didn't see it, I'm afraid. I only saw the second half. I only got there for the second half. My daughter had a cup game just down the road, sort of thing. So it took me an age to get to the ground. So when I got there, I watched the last 3 or 4 minutes outside on the concourse. Quick pint on the big screen. I was trying to work out who's on and who's off, so I can't comment, Lee. I was watching it on the whatever it was 40th minute. We seem to be doing all right, sort of thing. But I didn't see the initial list of players.
So I will come to Dean, the one who was actually at the game for the whole time. Then, shall we? Dean,
well, I did try and get there early, but
you made it. You got more.
At least I was there. These plastic supporters. Sorry, go on.
Dean, what did you think of that? What did you think of the lineup? I might as well just have you on here, mightn't I? Dean, what would you think of that lineup?
I thought we still have enough. I really did. I mean, it was a bit like I looked at the bench and I thought, Jesus Christ. And we was in LTs when we told there was Solanke weren't playing. But I don't see the point in Lancashire could have played up front. Why not playing? You even had Reguilon warming up, right? Reguilon was warming up. So we did have something on the left hand side. And Jed Spence still ain't got a game. With that, how crap can they be, or how can Ange not trust them to put them on when we're that sort of the bare bones? We got players that would be able to fill into them positions, but still not playing. We was absolutely toothless up front, right? Absolutely. We had no focal point. Yes, you had Johnson, but Johnson sort of bang on the right, and he couldn't come off that line. So it's something that obviously they must be told, because Werner done exactly the same thing. Both of them like had chalk in their boots all the way down, never come inside. So that's something they must have been told. But they didn't use it. They didn't use the width. They was trying to go for the centre. But we had nobody really who was doing the work in the centre. Maddison, again, he could have a brilliant game and then he goes missing again. Ooh. The amount of times them lads hit Maddison and put him on the floor. I mean, the ref let the game go and stopped it in weird places where he should have let it go. He wasn't giving many. I think there's 1, maybe 2 yellow cards, if that. So
he looks about 90.
Yeah, it was trying to keep the game flowing, but we just weren't quick enough. We weren't quick enough. They were fast. As soon as they had the ball, they weren't playing out from the back. It was like over the top, over to is it Robinson. Did you say Mason Robinson? Was it?
Yeah, number 33, Robinson.
33, right? Every time the ball went over to him, mate. What a unit! Absolutely brilliant. So fast. He'll get the ball, and then cross it, switch play straight over to Smith Rowe or Nelson. I mean, there was a lot of ex-Arsenal players there, so again that gave them something to beat us.
Yeah,
Iwobi was good. There was that Fulham have got so many good players. Us as delusional Spurs fans are going, we should be smashing them, mate.
Yeah,
they are good. They're a good team. They turn us over. They're a really, really good team. They're strong, they're physical. When there's having corners, you 2 higher players up against him, they were so much taller. So much taller. So we done well to defend the way we did. But I can't understand this Ange ball where we're supposed to be playing so fast, on the break, invite the pressure on, then go over the top and then run at them. Because we invited the pressure on. So when they was all coming round us, that's when you do the pass, you go over to Werner, you go over to Robinson, to go over to Brennan Johnson. That's when you'd make them passes. But we never did. Never did. So that makes no sense. So yeah, it was a tough game to watch, but we was lucky to get the draw, if you ask me.
So
really lucky.
Just coming on it, right? So a lot of the stuff, a lot of people have been talking about, obviously injury crisis, a lot of players missing, right? So we've got Odegaard out, Romero, Van der Ven, Moore, Solanke, Richarlison, Vicario, and Bentancur, obviously with his suspension, right? But when you look at it on the day, out of all of those I've just called out, I know, like Romero, Van der Ven would come into the game, would be in the game anyway, in the squad anyway, if they were fit, right? But out of all of that lot, the only one I think would make any kind of difference in terms of that game potentially would have been Solanke. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, without a doubt. Hey, there was nobody put into the centre. You put Sonny in the centre, as much as I love him, he's short on pace and short on confidence. There was times when he got the ball, and any other time he would have come in from the left or whatever and hit across the ball and put it in the top corner. Didn't want to do it. He was looking backwards all the time. It was like I say, and Werner put in some great crosses, really did. But we had nobody there. He was off like a scolded cat. Nobody else. Everybody else was jogging up. Even when we was taking in throw-ins and stuff, they was just like standing there going, "No, don't throw it to me. Don't throw it to me." I stood there and going, "Who fucking wants it? Who wants it? Make a move." And he threw it, and it hit Sonny in the chest, and they just blocked boundaries on and that's it. Fulham was up it again. There was something wrong with our team. There was rumours that Angels lost the dressing room. I don't think that's true. I think they're knackered. They are absolutely knackered. We've planned this high-speed press and football. There was no pressing. Fulham were pressing us all the time. Every now and again, Sonny would run up to the keeper, like to Leno, and try and get the ball off him or whatever, but wouldn't put that leg out to sort of get that ball. But nobody else was coming up with him. It's weird. It's absolutely weird. You're looking at it going, okay, so what tactics are we using here? Are we using low block? We're using high block? We're using mid block? What are we doing? Fuck knows. And I watch a lot of football. I couldn't work it out. Could not work it out. And I don't think the players could work it out.
Alex, go on. You wanted to say?
No, so I was talking to Dean earlier. That we were saying that we was also too slow. By the time we got into the area, the whole team, the whole Fulham, it was there, sort of thing. We had a great build-up, and then they're just too slow. Nobody wants to be committed to trying to score a goal. The corners, they weren't even getting past the first play, would they do?
No.
They were just, and then, like I say, Vernon, who actually, if you see him putting a thumbs up, that was to me, I said, give us a wave, Vernon. He gives a wave, like, nice bloke. But he's the only one that's running up and down, putting a proper shift in. But we're just too slow when we get into the area. Nobody wants the ball. Nobody wants to take a shot. So it was a bit disappointing because the build-up's there, but just the end product's not there. It's a bit like a night out with Dean. You know what I mean? It just doesn't happen at the end of the night.
I know we're talking about the squads, right? So we've got lots of players out. I get it, right? And so you can't make the changes that you might want to make during the course of the game. That's going to give you a little bit more impetus or whatever. Like I say, the Solanke thing is a massive loss. But at least he turned up. He's not very well, but he turned up, right? So he's up for the game, and they've sent him away. Obviously thinking, well, maybe the Chelsea game, we really need him for that game. And I guess the same thing around Kulu, you're not playing straight away. The idea being, if you're going to rest him, because we've got some important games up, like Mason said, this is probably the one you'd kind of think you would want to do it in, because obviously you don't really want to rest him against Chelsea. You don't want to rest him against Rangers because they're really, really important games. And of course, even we've got Bournemouth obviously to come yet. But Dean, I think you made the point earlier about Spence and Porro, because I've seen a lot of stuff where people were talking about Porro looking really, really leggy and tired and whatever. So, Mason, let me ask you this one. Spence not getting a game when Porro's looking so poor. What does that say to you? Do we think he's got to be moving on in January? You're talking on mute.
I thought I did take myself off then. It's weird to say because Spence, he's got quality. So we're very thin at the back anyway. So I don't think he will move in January, but I don't think he'll get minutes because in case, say, Udegaard or Porro gets injured, it's one or the other, right? Spence fills in for both of them. I don't think he'll go out on loan. But if he doesn't start getting minutes, then I think Spence is going to go, right, I've got to go in the summer. I've got to go. Because even that when Porro is falling slightly in terms of performances, this is where Spence should be licking his lips and going, oh, a bit of game time for me. But Ange don't do it. Ange don't do it. And even then, in the Europa League as well, I get we had a big squad. But to leave Spence out of that squad for a few other players who didn't really need to be there, who are injured now, is ridiculous.
I just with the whole Spence thing, right? I kind of think to myself, well, if I'm Ange, I'm looking at it, I've got my two centre backs out, so I've got to go with my stronger left back, a right back. So I guess I'm thinking, well, maybe that's why he goes with Porro. But if Porro's having a poor game, which by all accounts he was, then I just don't understand why you wouldn't change that up. I mean, everything else, you look at the bench, you think there's not really an awful lot on there that you can change, is there? I mean, we are down to the bare bones, and people are calling out. There's something else I've seen is people complaining about how Ange said that he was happy with the players that he brought in, and that they're going to be squad players and all the rest of it. We're going to utilise them. But he's still not really doing that, is he? And I'm not saying that I think, we should be putting Lucas Bergvall in place of Maddison, who is a quality player. But if it's not working and you need to rest them, you've got to trust that squad. If he's happy with those players, he's got to start trusting them, hasn't he?
Well, yeah. I mean, remember against Coventry when we were 1-0 down? We brought on a certain player who had to prove something, and he got to go on assist. Jed Spence. Yeah. He has something to prove, and he does play well. It's not as if he's like, even when Conte was here, Spence wasn't getting minutes. When Emerson Royale was our right wing back at the time, like I don't know about you, but there's kind of a pattern here. Conte, even say Conte didn't want to play him. Ange took him on loan because he didn't want to play him without even seeing him play. And even Ryan Mason was like, "No, send him back out on loan." It was just I don't get it. I mean, maybe it is true. Maybe he does have an attitude problem, but at the same time, Ange, that's not the case anymore. So I don't understand what is going on with Spence, because it seems like if he was to come in and do a job, he'd do it quite well, especially in these FA Cup games, in these Europa League games, even against Fulham. These are the games you need to bring up these players who don't get a lot of game time because they got something to prove and they can offer something different.
Yeah. Alex, I just want to come back to you about Sonny. We know that he's not a great central striker, right? And he doesn't really. I know he can score goals and all the rest of it, but not necessarily as a number 9, right? Can you for me, if you've got Richarlison out and then Solanke comes in sick, your only other recognised striker as such is Lancashire. Now I know he's only a young lad, but at some point he's got to get his chance, hasn't he? Surely that would have made sense for him to come on and keep Sonny out on the left, no?
Mate, you're right. I mean, you don't know till you try, do you? Sort of thing. I think with youngsters, you've got to give them as much opportunity as possible. And in the situation that we were in on Sunday, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So I think they should have given an opportunity. Son has just lost his touch. His first touch is shit. And he's just... He's just it looks like his bottle's gone. And it don't. He's just lost that edge. But with the youngsters, you've got to give them a go. He's got to use the tools in his box, and he's to their full potential, and then he's got to let everyone have a crack. But Son, though, I don't want to say it, but sometimes we could do without him.
I do worry. Like everyone gets older, right? So Sonny's 32 or something, so he's obviously going to get older, and his reactions are not going to be as quick. He's not going to be as good as he was, and all the rest of it. I just think if Ange's saying these players are part of the squad, they're in the match day squad, and all the rest of it, at some point you've got to take a punt. If it's not working, Sonny's not having a great game as a striker when he's out of position anyway. You've got a striker sat on the bench. Get him on. Give him a go. Because what have you got to lose? You know what I mean? Well, you're not sort of
you're right.
or whatever anyway. So it kind of makes no sense to me, and it kind of proves the point. So I just like it froze me slightly because at one point I was looking at our bench thinking, actually we look quite strong these days, and now all of a sudden with these injuries, and some of these are long term. Right, Odebear is a long one. Richarlison's a long run. Vicario's going to be a fairly long one. Even Bentancur's ban is a fairly long one, right? So you've got massive gaps in there, massive gaps. And the ones that you think you would have been missing, Romero, Van der Ven, we probably ain't. You probably think to yourself, well, Dragushin and Davis are doing all right. They're kind of holding their own and doing as well as they can. But it's what's in front of them that needs to be more inventive and more focused on doing something to take that pressure off of those guys doing those last-ditch defensive movements.
And that's the thing, Lee. There's nobody up front that is willing to have a crack at goal, which just doesn't make sense. As I just said, earlier on, they're just too slow. They can get into the area, into the area to score a goal, but nobody wants to take that chance. And like you say, there's no one there to finish it off in the fashion that we would expect. But it's just bizarre, mate. Bizarre, to be honest with you. The thing is, it's frustrating.
Start of last season, we was all talking about how we was having a crack outside a goal. Like I can bring up three right now. Do you remember Romero's against Burnley? Maddison's attempt against Liverpool? Son's against Brighton? Just every single last season, for some reason, it seemed to be. Oh, hang on, the cat's having a go. Last season, it seemed to be have a crack on goal, like at the start anyway. Have a crack on goal. We're going to dominate the outside of the box. I'm just going to pass around, wait for the fuck up, cross it in, or have a crack. But this season, it doesn't seem like that. It seems to be, well, to be fair, it just seems give it to Johnson, he'll run through on goal. He'll tap it in. Or Solanke's going to hold up a player and run through on goal. That's all it seems to be at the moment.
The build-up's there. The build-up's there. Because you're on the edge of your seat with the build-up, but then it's get to the other end, it's flaccid.
It's lackluster.
For a word.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I do think we miss Solanke. I know people again. I see a lot about people slagging him off, not scoring enough goals and all the rest of it. But for the amount of times I've seen him, I thought he's played really, really well for us. All the work he does off the ball, all the work he does dropping deep and stuff like that, linking play and all the rest of it. For me, I think he's probably the one person that we're really missing at the moment. Before the game, Dean, what was your score prediction before the game? What did you think you was looking at?
I thought we'd do them 2-1. I knew it'd be a tight game. I really did because I mean they're good. They're a good side, and they do give us a game every time. So I knew it was going to be a tight game, but it was flat as well. Right, flatted, as Al would say. Right, it was a proper flaccid game. Honestly, mate, it was odd, and you could see Porro and you could see Ben. They're all going, yeah, come on, get up, let's go. Give us something to get up because we started and it was all great and it was all singing, but it just went so quiet because there was nothing to get excited about. Really, really wasn't. And like Al said, we started to push forward, and Fulham was going, get back straight away. They was all back in shape before we even got to their box. We should have been, as soon as we got the ball, banging down the outside, because that's the whole idea of having Johnson, who's supposed to be rapid, and Werner, who's supposed to be rapid, to go down the outside. Get the ball out to them as quick as you can, and then people down the middle. I mean, Sonny didn't used to be slow, but they were both going down the outside, and they looked across, and there was nobody within 30 yards of where they were. So then they had to stop. Then they get 2 players on them. They couldn't make the cross, and everybody went, what's going on? They couldn't put the ball in. There's no point crossing, and they couldn't take them on because they was doubling up on them. They, Fulham done a number on us.
I think Fulham were happy with a point though. They were going for a point.
I don't know, mate. I mean, they come out as soon as they got the ball. Right, as soon as they got the ball, they was out and trying to sort of come towards. Leno was wasting time. Again, some of the dark arts when their player got sent off. Right, the first thing you could see, they was going to sit down, get to Leno, tell him to get on the floor.
Good point.
Get down, and he went on the floor, and then they all ran over to get the instructions of what to do. Right, as we're just walking about, going, "Oh, it's nearly Christmas. What have you bought your missus?" No, mate, get fucking out of the way and you get some instruction. Right, we're 10 up now.
Yeah.
Let's go and have some. But no, we just bumbled about. Then somebody went on, put some water, and Andrew's still there with his hands in his pockets. Don't know, mate. There's something not quite right at our club, but we've said that season on season.
The time wasted was an issue, though, wasn't it? The time wasted was just stupid at some points.
Yeah, but that's the dark arts. We've got to learn that shit. Like when you're 2-1 up or whatever, you got to go. Okay, let's lay on the ball a little bit. Let's take some time. Okay, well, I was going to kick it out from that side. No, I'm not going to kick it out from that side. We've got to learn that stuff. We're not stupid. Forster's not stupid. He's been in the game a long time now, and he should be able to go, right, okay, this is what I've got to do. We're up. Let's like a bit. Oh no, I'm going to get a yellow card. What a shame. Fuck him. 1 yellow card. Don't matter. You ain't going to get sent off. So it's a weird one.
I see a lot of conversations, right? I know we just touched on it just before we come on live, right? But I'm really interested in this idea that Tottenham are somehow entitled to win against Fulham. Like, I know we touched on it before, Alex, and we had a little bit of a debate about it, but about someone else, I can't remember, it was Ipswich probably. But the idea they go, we should be smashing Fulham, right? They're not as good as us, and blah blah blah, right? And we talked about it earlier. There was this real entitlement and people getting really arsy about the fact that we didn't win that game, right? But I think we'd said before that they were 1 point, 2 points behind us. They've had one less win than us. They've had one less loss than us, but they've had 2 draws more than us, which kind of puts them really close. They've had a fair few, 4 draws, I think it is so far, and they had a lot of 1-1s and stuff like that. They're no mugs, as Dean said. I just don't understand why a lot of our fans think we're entitled to walk into the ground and just beat everybody, especially when we're in the middle of this rebuild of changing literally everything about the club. We're literally changing everything from the training staff to the training regime to the medical staff to the players, the way we play, everything's got to change. And we're bringing in a lot of young players, right, to bring the average age of the club, the squad down. I get it, but at the same time, that all doesn't bode well for this idea that we should just beat everybody. Does it?
I don't think it's entitlement. I think it's expectations.
Yeah, but where does that come from? Where does it come from that we should expect that our team will always win every game? We didn't lose this game, bear in mind. We didn't lose it. We drew it. We got a point, right, against a London rival who played very well, that are 1 place, 2 places below us in the league.
I think, again, it's what we see. We see some glimmer of light 1 week, and then the next week it's snuffed out. So it is. I don't think it's entitlement. I think Every team expects their team to win. The difference with our team is that all the other teams that come to our ground and play us at our ground come there with a bit between their teeth. They want to turn us over. Where we are, I don't know. We're just inconsistent.
Yeah.
I don't think it's entitlement. I just think we're just so inconsistent while all these changes are happening. These teams are coming in, don't matter who it is, whether it's the top of the league or bottom of the league, from where four corners of the earth. They come to Tottenham Hotspur, they want to turn us over. You know, we might not be top of the league, you know, as in points, but we're certainly top of the league that someone wants to turn us over. To them, it's you know, it's like a mini World Cup or FA Cup or League Cup or whatever. If they can say we've beat Tottenham, they go home with skipping all the way home. We just got a few changes that are happening at the moment. We're so inconsistent that our expectations are a bit out of sync with it. You know, that's what I think. I just go for each match. I enjoy watching them. You can see where they're not, you know, where they're not performing properly, and you often wonder what he's looking at. Like Dean said, Ange just stands there doing nothing. When they all ran over, everyone was like, what's this, American football? All having a huddle up, like, you know, sorting out what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 minutes. Like Dean says, we were just sort of like looking up at the helicopter going across the sky. It's just, it just doesn't make sense. But I don't think it's entitlement. I think we want our team to win. We expect our team to win. But we're just so inconsistent. Everything's out of sync.
Yeah, no, I do get it. I do get it. The thing that just kind of hits me is the total meltdown. You know, I don't think any of us have gone over the top about the fact that we beat Man City. They're going through a difficult time. We beat them, you know, we beat them well and all the rest of it. But that's a team that tried to play against us. They tried to play against us. And we've got a really good turnover. We're one of the best in the league for our turnovers. So that kind of plays into our hand. I think if a team comes to us and kind of go, well, actually, we're not bothered. We don't really need the ball. You know, we'll let you do the work, pass it around side to side, and we can sit there and just watch that happen. And we'll try and nick one on the break or when you make a mistake, because you're going to. Everyone does. Everyone kind of makes a mistake. So you kind of think to yourself, you know, them sort of teams are gonna frustrate you, and then they're gonna do the dark arts and all the rest of it. Especially if they get their noses ahead. There was a couple of bright bits in the game, obviously. So, Dean, just talk to me about Maddison's free kick. It was in the first half, so I think Alex probably missed it. But
no, I was there.
How close was that? How close was that off the post?
Yeah, no, I mean it was. I thought it was in. I actually thought it was in. It looked like he was going to go over the top, but he went underneath. He is good. He is just good, but it can't be just all about the free kicks. But yeah, I mean, if that's
was
what
that
we're
all
going
he
to start
did then? Was that him? Was that his main thing for the game, Maddison?
Yeah, I mean, why not? That's what West Ham used to do. That's what Southampton used to do. We get good free kicks, and you go down in play, because we did. We had some good times to have a free kick. And Maddison was close on both, you know. And it's just strange that Sonny doesn't take him, because he takes him for South Korea and he scores plenty. But again, Maddison used to score plenty, and so yeah.
But was that all that he contributed in that game though? Because when you watched him against City, he was electric. Like, he was involved in everything. I mean, he was running off the ball, he was pointing, he was challenging back and that. But from what I've kind of gathered from this game, he was fairly sort of invisible in the game. Is that fair, or was he better than that?
No, they did have some moments, and he put in some good crosses and sort of switched the play a bit. But he's so
he was
small,
angry.
right? He was so small, and he was getting beaten up. He was, honestly, they were sort of coming in and just shoulder barging, and then he went flying, and he was going, look, free kick. Ref weren't giving none of it, because he's trying to get, have the game flowing. But when you get somebody he's like 6'3" and built like a brick shithouse, and you got Maddison who's like 3 stone soaking wet, it's gonna go like the two are just not gonna work. So he was bouncing off and laying on the floor, going, me, no, you can't do that. You've got to stay strong, shield the ball. Get the foul if there's going to be a foul. Not going. You want a foul every time because then we're left open. But yeah, he was pissed off. I think a lot of players were pissed off. They weren't playing with a smile in the face. Even when in the warm up, they weren't smiling. They seemed really don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. Whether they're not having a Christmas party this year or something, but they look like fucked off.
Mason,
he was angry.
I want to come to you, mate, about Forster, right? So obviously with Vicario out, we know how good he is with his feet, his passing ability, and all the rest of it. Good shot stopper as well. Everyone was, really, really upset about that injury, and really worried about Forster coming in. But he done all right, and in the last, certainly in that game, I wrote down, just looking at my notes there, a save from Tete, one from Iwobi, a couple of really big moments in that game. I thought he did all right.
He's done it again. I clicked it that time.
That's what his bird says.
Yeah, well. No, he made some great saves. It's just, to be fair, it was poor from the defence to let them have those shots, as many as they did, because Forster was there every time. Apart from is Tom Kearney. That is his name, isn't it? Tom Kearney. Yeah. Apart from his goal, obviously, made it 1-1. But then again, what a goal. I don't think a lot of keepers are saving that. But then again, it could have been 3-0 before half-time if not for Fraser Forster. He made some great saves. A great reaction save down in the second half by the south stand. He played well. I must admit, it wasn't a 10 out of 10 performance. Don't get me wrong. He looked a bit shaky sometimes. But he didn't do as bad as everyone's been saying, oh, Christ, we've got Forster in goal now. Oh, what the fuck are we going to do? No, he done all right. He done good. But is he going to get us over the line for the next few months? I don't know. I don't think so. I think we will be complaining about Forster in weeks to come. But Fulham, he weren't bad. You got to give him credit when credit's due. He played a good game.
Yeah, I think he's more the reason we drew the game than the fact that we could have lost it. I mean, the goal from Kearney was a quality goal, right? And played from outside the box, straight up there. And again, kind of from a defensive point of view, that's not a problem for Dragusin, and that's not a problem for Ben Davies who are in that position. But what we should be getting is the other players getting out quicker and getting in front as players like that, so they don't have the time to play that kind of shot from there. Because we've been beaten by that a few times. Them kind of worldies that really get on your get on your tits.
That's the thing. I think it comes back down to Ange's arrogance, because then again, when you have got Van der Ven there, you can play the high line. Don't get me wrong, Davies does a job, but we all know Davies isn't the same speed as Van der Ven, who mops up at the back and tidies up for us. But I genuinely think in the weeks to come, if Ange just slightly dropped the high lines just a little bit, I know it's just about the way we play, mate, and all that shit. If he just drops back slightly, I think we'll see a lot more of a performance from the centre backs, because there's less space for the players to run into, because they're not the fastest in the world, Dragusin and Davies, but they are brick walls, if you know what I mean. They are solid. They are solid players. But
Dragusin was in Foster the keeper's way looking at it.
Yeah, well,
so he didn't do as much favours there.
No, the high line isn't suited for Davies and Dragusin. Maybe Dragusin a bit more because he's still young and he's adapting. But I think Ange needs to drop the high line when we haven't got players who can play in a high line. If you know what I mean, it's just odd. It's just odd playing the same way that we do without our two starting centre backs and expecting them to do the same thing. It's not ready, especially with Bentancur as well, where he drops back, comes in the middle like Basuma does. Basuma looked knackered by the end of the game. We need to switch it up when we ain't got these players who aren't running back.
And without Bentancur, you ain't got a replacement for Basuma, right?
Exactly.
To play the full 90, especially when they're playing 2 games a week and all that, or getting involved in 2 games a week, we
had Archie Gray, but he come on and was injured straight away, which is another injury to add to the list. But it's not a certain team down the road missing one centre back, so no one hears about it. So
Yeah, I mean, I know it all comes back to this squad and where we are in terms of this rebuild and how many players we still need and all that kind of stuff. It does, like I say, I know I've already said it, but what I'm worried about is that he's saying that these players are players that are part of the squad and it's part of the rebuild, but you've got to blood them players at some point.
Yeah.
And I know we'll all be. If he did, and then we ended up losing the game, we'd all be raging because he's playing the game with a load of teenagers. So he's damned if he does and damned if he don't. Really, I'm not really sure what the answer to that is. I do want to touch on Johnson's goal. Werner assist. Johnson at the back post again. That's his 10th. That's his 10th so far this season. Dean, what did you make of that goal?
Yeah, it was a cracking goal, and like I say, they were the two, and the only two that were running. Especially you came on, you could see it more in the second half because that's where they were. You looked across the line and went, "Where the fuck is everybody else?" But it was only Timo and it was only sort of Brennan that were doing the runs, and you looked in and you think they're only just jogging like over the halfway line, and we're down at the 18-yard box. It makes no sense. So, but what a goal! What a cross! Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, like I said to you, I am a Timo fan, but the people next to me were going, "Oh, he's rubbish! Look at that! He's got stuck. He's stuck with the ball. He ain't going to take it. He's not going to take it on, and he can't put a cross in if there's nobody there to put a cross to, because then they'll go, why did he cross it? Why didn't he cut back?" And so, yeah, he's another one. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. We've got some weird fans. We really, really have.
Yeah.
Even though you're watching exactly the same thing and exactly the same player and at exactly the same time, people go, "No, he's shit." No, that was a brilliant cross. Yeah, but there was nobody there. Well, that ain't his fault, right? The same as Johnson. Like, he comes running in and he going, "Right, I'm going to lay it off." It's like, it's ridiculous. We can't play that like super like speed football if nobody else is making the runs with them. So again, you have to then adapt your game to the people, like Mason said, to the people who got on. You adapt your game to that. That's who you got. Right, we're gonna have to do this then. You can't.
Yeah, you do have to do that, but it just feels like with Ange that it's just not something he's going to do. Like, he wants all these players to play the way he's expected us to play, whether they've got the ability or not, right? And just to do their best to try to make it happen, and it just doesn't always work, and that's going to be the trend. So I just think to myself, does this mean that some of these players are going to have to go? Like, this rebuild is even deeper than what we think. That some of these players he's brought in are not going to be the right players, and they're going to have to ship out or whatever, because it's just not going to work. Let's say Spence. I know we've talked about it, but he done well in pre-season. He came on Coventry, played well there. The times he's come on, he's not let anybody down. Doesn't look like he's got an attitude. But if he can't get in when either of those players are not playing very well, that in his position, that kind of gives me a worry. Same with Bergvall. Supposed to be this Swedish wonder kid who's brilliant in creative player, not getting on the pitch. I know Archie Gray came on, but had to come off fairly swiftly with a dead leg. I haven't seen what actually happened there. Alex, have you seen what caused his dead leg? Was it a tackle or?
No, I didn't see it. To be honest with you, I saw the foul on Cooley, but I didn't see the injury there. Mason might have. You know what he's like.
Yeah. Let me just while you sort out your muting problem, Mason. let me talk to you about the sending off then, Alex, because I was going to come on to that, right? Was it a sending off right decision? Because he got a yellow card initially, right?
Yeah. No, it was a sending off, mate. Cooley was going to put a ball through to Son. Son was going to be on. Everyone was going to run forward. He hooks his arm round Cooley. So I've got it here on my laptop. He hooks his arm round Cooley, and then takes his right leg out. So yeah, and then Maddison Dean was saying earlier, he was angry on frustrated or angry, but Maddison was fuming at that because he basically just dragged him down. He just hooked him round his left arm and took out his right leg. So definitely. And then obviously I was where I sit. You saw the ref walking across to the monitor. We was all like, again, it took an age on VAR to make a decision, and he comes bowling over to the screen. We knew what was going to happen. But definitely a sending off, mate.
But if it took so long for him to review it on VAR, was it as clear cut as that then? Because I mean, the yellow card, you know.
Well, I mean, looking at it at slow play, I don't know what they were doing there. I think with the VAR people, they're justifying their own existence. So it's clear as day that his left arm goes over his left shoulder, and then he takes his right leg out. Yeah, just takes him out. So this is clear as day. Who knows what the VAR people are watching? Like Dean said, you know, with the fans. Although Dean does sit in a very special section, but it's what we see and what they see are completely two different things. The VAR people, you can see it clear as day what he's done. He's hooked his arm over and he's took his leg out. Why it took so long? Who knows? Why give it to the ref? It's not my job, mate. I'll give it to someone else. You know, it's the blame culture again. But it was definitely a sending off, mate, because the ball was on. Cooley had the ball, passing it to Son. Everyone would have run forward. May have scored, may not have. But it was definitely a sending off, mate. But again, it took too long. It took too much out of the game. It took too long. What did we get at the end of it? 7 minutes? You know, it just took too long. Yeah. But no, definitely a sending off, mate.
Yeah, I'd say from what I saw, it looked like he'd kind of raked down the back of his leg.
Yeah. So no, he kicks it. He literally hooks his arm over him and kicks his leg out. So.
Yeah. When you're in the ground, you obviously got them 4 big screens, and after the red card, they actually showed it, and everybody went, "Fuck," because he raked his leg down his calf, like he studded him down his calf, and everybody went, "Yeah," and you could even look at the Fulham fans going, "Oh, like that," you know. So everybody said, "Well, no, that's a red card. That is dangerous." So. But as soon as he goes across there, you know what he's going to do. How often do you see a ref? I think maybe seen it 2, maybe 3 times. He's gone, no, I'll stick with my decision. But they don't. They'll go, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, he's definitely going to go. There's no point. Go to the monitor. Why am I walking across here? Because it's the drama. We know what's going to happen.
And then
they should do the EastEnders music. They should do the EastEnders music as he's walking over. And then when he makes a decision and he goes... He said, "Put the EastEnders on."
What happened, Dave? What happened about 5 minutes later? It came on the screen. The decision, sending off. I thought, I haven't got time to read that, mate. I'm watching the game. You know what I mean? It was like a paragraph of like about 10 lines. Fuck off, mate. I'm watching the game. I don't want to read that. You know what I mean? Because they're talking about having live feeds, aren't they? About VAR decisions now.
Yeah,
not the conversation. Not the conversation, but why the ref has done what he's done.
Yeah, you'll get the decision. You got to be on. You got to be on Twitter though to see it. There's a special Twitter account that they're going to put it in. Mason, let me come back to you now. Have you sorted out your muting problem?
Yeah,
what happened to Archie Gray in his dead leg?
I want to say the Fulham 8 just kind of, Gray had the ball. He went in for the back of him, put his knee into the back of his thigh. That's all it was. Dead leg. To be fair, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It doesn't look like it was a problem. It didn't look like he was in any pain. But obviously, with a dead leg, you can't really play on with that. So it's a shame for that game. But I don't know.
See, I don't get it right with a dead leg because my mate always used to punch me in the leg and give me a dead leg. But
exactly.
I still had to play on at school in the playground with a dead leg.
I'll give him a dead leg. I'll give him a dead leg at least once a week. Any Mason? A dead arm. Give him a right-hander.
I don't get it. As a dead leg that bad.
I think it's just precaution. I don't think he can risk another player being out, especially with the Europa League and Carabao Cup and FA Cup all coming out now. So I don't think he can risk it because dead legs can lead to a lot of other stuff, especially like it's hard to explain because obviously I'm not physiotherapist. But surely, if you have got a dead leg, you do lose a bit of, I don't know, feeling in your legs. So if anything does happen, how are you going to tell? I think that's the justification around it. If you
I'll tell you what, mate. I'll come upstairs and give you a dead leg now, mate. Hang on.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. It is a bit of a strange one. But listen, I get it. But it's a shame, right, for him, because he finally got into his favourite position in midfield. He gets a dead leg fairly straight away, and he's off again. But we don't think that's going to be another longer term injury. Going to be out for a few games. No, he should be back normal.
Me.
No, was Danny all right?
You all right there, Dean?
Dean, you all right, Dean?
I was there, and then nobody was.
Rick and Morty's set in.
Yeah, no.
So anyway,
listen. One thing that does frustrate me.
Go on.
Does frustrate me. As we're getting shit off our chest, right? Big four screens, right? That doesn't happen in the Europa League, but it happens in Premier League games. 90 minutes, however many minutes left, 7, and they've got a countdown. Like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. When you've got a minute and a half to go and you want to win the game, why are you cocking about with the ball going side to side? Have a go, especially when you're down to 20 seconds. Please have a shot. Everybody's going, you're running out of time at the point that they want. No, please shoot. You've got four big jumbotrons with the time on it. You know how many seconds left. Shoot. Don't go, I'll go back to Forster. Please just fucking shoot. There you go. Rant over.
Look at Roma. Look at Roma, mate. We'll talk about that shortly, no doubt. 3 minutes. Let's fuck about with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the Europa League, they don't have the clock on. So it goes 90 minutes and that's it. You sort of have to work it out yourself. But Premier League games, the clock's on there and it goes like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute.
I'm sure they can work it out. They can work it out, surely.
No, they can't.
They're not that stupid, surely.
Well, listen. We've kind of, we've been talking for 52 minutes, and and that's about a terrible game against Fulham. Even though we still managed to get a draw out of it, which ain't the worst result at the end of the day, right? So I did make some notes in as well to talk about Roma. I know we ain't got loads of time left. But another terrible performance in the end.
Another hour.
with another draw, which we kind of thought might be the case, right? This after Galatasaray, this was the one I think we were all kind of looking at and thinking that's going to be the difficult one, regardless of where they are in the Italian league, regardless of all their problems. They are a very big football club who kind of got a rich history and all that kind of stuff. So just a few things that let's go through. Alex, was it a penalty?
Yes.
Yes.
He took him out. I can watch it again on the screen here, mate. He probably went over a bit easy, but he put a leg in and he went over it, basically. He put a leg in and he went over it. So, I mean, he took him out. He probably went down a bit easy, so I went down a bit easy, but he did take him out. So, yeah, for me, it was a penalty.
We watching it live. I thought to myself, "Oh, that's a bit too soft," right? Then when they replayed it coming from behind, I still thought, nah, that's not. But the actual angle, when you look at it from on, it did look like he came in knee high to his thigh.
Well, yeah, he took his thigh out. Yeah,
and he's probably the right decision for him to go down and kind of take that as a foul and a penalty, and well taken penalty by Son, right?
Yeah, definitely keeping it low. So that was good penalty. Good penalty. He completely misguided him. So yeah, it was good. Definitely a penalty.
Mason,
good goal.
Mason, I was just going to ask about Dragushin. He's the one who leads to the foul for the equaliser. Bit disappointing there to give away a free kick there. He does that quite often, doesn't he?
He does a bit. He's a bit brash, isn't he? But then again, he's still a young. People don't realise it, but he is still a youngster. He's like 21, 22. Just he needs the game time, and he'll become a top player. I think. I mean, players are already scared as it is now. If you saw him against Roma last Thursday, just you see the players running towards him. Go, oh fuck, Draggers in to the right. They'll pass it away from him. They know he can put a foot in. And if you've seen his play from Genoa, which all of the Roma lot will recognise anyway, because I'm pretty sure Genoa done the double over him last year when he played for him. He does a Van de Ven tackle 9 times out of 10. He comes in from behind and swaps the ball away. Like, if you go back and watch his Genoa days, that is what he does. And I think that's what Ange was attracted to. These players recognised Dragusin's performance from when they played him last season, when they were all in Italy. So I think Dragusin had a good game, but he does have the odd mistake in him that does lead to a free kick. But what more can you say?
Yeah, no, a bit disappointing. It did come off of the players' back to kind of take it away from Forster, who again I thought had a decent game. To be honest with you, that was the first one he kind of stepped into where everyone was panicking about it. But again, I don't think he did too badly. A few decent saves. Dean, I'm going to come to you on this. Dybala, player that we've been linked with for so many years, never ever happened, and all the rest of it. But watching him play in that game, even though he only played kind of the first half, what a player! What some touches he had in that game. Yeah,
and again, he's the sort of player that we are missing. We need, as much as I like Maddison and I like what he's about, and he's, you know, you need a playmaker. You need somebody that's going to sort of a game changer. Say, you know, if he's sitting on the bench, you take the bar because he's not getting the minutes that he should be getting. But we don't seem to ever go into them for them sort of players. You know, we always get, we want him. Oh no, we'll take him instead because we can't get him for whatever reason. But at the same time,
wasn't the issue with Dybala something to do with his image rights or something?
His agent and his image rights, yeah,
or something.
Yeah, and they wanted this, and they said, "Well, no, we need that." And they went, "No." So yeah, it was a really weird one, apparently. But you don't know. You don't know what's behind all that. It could be sort of a bit of a sort of whitewash and go, no, that's why we can't have him because of this. I mean, we get that so many times. Oh, we want him, but there's a problem with this. And then all of a sudden he turns up at City or he turns up at bloody Liverpool. Oh, well, where comes they can sort it out, but we can't.
Yeah. But I thought we had a really good. I thought we had a really good game. He kind of pulled all the strings for him. He did this. It was a beat where he did this lovely little dink. This kind of he just kind of flicked it without even looking, and it played through. And I think it led to an offside goal, one of the first offside goals or whatever. But brilliant play, and what a player he would have been for us. He would have really been a proper Tottenham player, I think.
I must admit, he is my favourite player outside of Spurs. I love Dybala, but so seeing him in the 11 last Thursday, I was quite excited to see because obviously I hadn't seen him prior. But yeah, no, Dybala, he had a great game. But then again, I mean, he has got a release clause. I don't know, a lot of people know about it, but no one's gone in for it for some reason. For any European club outside of Italy, it's 12 million euros, and for some reason, no one's picking him up. So I don't know if that's something to do with wages or his agent or his image rights again, because his image rights are private. It wasn't Juventus, but his release cost is only 12 million euros. So you can look that up now, all over the news. People saying, every transfer window is who's going to go in for Dybala. Since he was at Roma, they're saying, well, for clubs outside of Italy, it's for 12 mil, but no one's got in for him for some reason. Not one team.
There's something strange about. They said on the commentary something about the fact that if he plays so many minutes or something, then Ranieri's got to pay extra, or they've got to give him a new contract, or something along those lines. Anyway, and I was kind of like, and I was wondering, well, is that why they took him off at half time? Right, because he was having such an influence in the game. Like, it just seemed crazy for him to go off, unless he can't play a full game, a full 90 minutes. I don't know.
Well, he's not young anymore. He's not young anymore. No. People think he's still like 25, 26. He's 31 now. He's getting on a bit. He looks very young, but I was baffled when I found out how old he actually was. But he's getting on a bit, and I think if anyone were to sign him, he might be past his best. But it didn't look like that in the Europa League the other night.
But talking about sexy football, we have to talk about Johnson's goal, because that was a brilliant move. I think Dybala initially gave it away. It broke to Sarah, I think, who played to Sonny, who played to Kulu, who played a peach of a ball in, and there he was, Johnson again, ole, at the back post to put it away. Quality goal that. Alex, what did you make of that?
Yeah, no, again, they just clicked. I mean, I think it was a shame that we lost it because, Solanke had a great game, but the cross that Cooney did was great. Yeah, bang on, mate. Yeah, and that's the thing. When it clicks, Yeah. Every time when we score, it's not a scrappy goal. 9 times out of 10, it's class. It's just I wish we could do it a bit more. But yeah, no, it just what a pass, mate. It was on the bottom, wasn't it? On the bottom.
Yeah.
But I was gutted that we lost, to be honest with you.
We drew.
Oh, sorry, we drew. Sorry, yeah, we drew. Sorry, Dave. Yeah. Was I there? I don't know. I can't remember. But no, I was gutted that we drew because we threw it away. The last few minutes, we threw it away.
Yeah, it does feel like
it just felt like a loss.
Yeah, the goal was 90 plus minutes into it after a brilliant save by Foster. He saved it. He saved one, and then it comes back for the next, and the ball comes over, and they're all daydreaming again, and it's just sort of touched in at the back post. Really, really disappointing. But I have to say, I think overall, I thought it was a fair result because they also had 2 offside goals, which were offside goals. To be fair, Dean, I just wanted to ask you. I know we're kind of over time now, but I just wanted to quickly ask you about Bentancur. He got a yellow card in that game. When I saw that tackle, I looked at it and I thought, "Oh, that's
a red.
That's a red." Did you think the same?
I think most of the ground thought it was a red.
Yeah,
he definitely got away with one there.
Yeah,
because that was not. You could hear it. Everybody went, "Oh!" You could hear it around the ground. I mean, I thought he was off.
Yeah, I did. I saw it and I thought, "Oh, he's off here." I actually thought he'd already had a yellow, and I thought that's a second yellow. He's off, but he should be off anyway. But he hadn't been booked, which I don't know why I thought he'd already had a yellow card. So, but listen, overall, I thought it was a fair result. I thought it could have ended up losing that game. So to hang on to it, get another point. We've got Rangers to play. We've got Elfsborg, is it?
Yeah.
And what's the other one? The German team, Hoffenheim. Again, after saying about Tottenham fans feeling entitled and so on, I think maybe we. I would have thought that we should get enough points out of those to kind of progress. But with all these injuries, you just never know, do you?
No.
But before that, we have got a little game down here on the south coast, not 5 miles from here.
You going?
No, I ain't got a ticket. How can you get a ticket for Tottenham Bournemouth or Bournemouth Tottenham? I think the away allocation is like, I don't know, 500 or something, 1,000 maybe.
Yeah,
well, I'm sure if you watch the telly, you'll see some 13-year-old kid that's got a ticket. I don't know how that works out, but that's beginning to wind me up.
Yeah. So listen, before we finish, let's ask this question. Dean, what do you think? Result against Bournemouth? Win, lose, draw, score prediction?
Draw. I think it's a 2-2.
Desmond? Mason, what about you? What do you think?
I reckon it's going to be a tight game, either a 2-1 Spurs or a draw. But just before we go on, I need to say this to you lot. Chelsea, they've released the ref and VAR.
Yeah.
Chelsea game. There is a certain bald god that we're going to have to pray for. It's Anthony Taylor is refereeing the Spurs Chelsea game. Can't wait for that. But Jared Gillett is on VAR, so it kind of counteracts it. So
you wish you could coin people with it back in the old day and throw something at them, couldn't you? Really, But still, there you go. Or was that just me being aggressive? I don't know.
Just you being aggressive. So Mason's not sitting on the fence. He's got no splinters this week. He's going for either a win or a draw, 2-1 or 2-2. So a very clear direction for you, Alex. What are you saying is going to be the score? Win, lose, draw?
I'm going to support my son. So yeah, 2-1, mate. I reckon it'll be us. I think we're going to win. Got to keep positive, and it's not being entitled. It's not being feeling entitled. I just think that we're going to win.
Right, so a win for Alex 2-1, a win for Dean 2-1, a win 2-1 or draw a 2-2 for Dean, sorry, and a 2-1 or a 2-2 for Mason. Like I say, not sitting on the fence at all, not edging his bets at all in that kind of
Coming in, Lee.
For me, I said that we are both inconsistent FC playing inconsistent FC. Both teams score goals. Both teams concede goals. So I think we're going to win 3-2. But then we could lose 3-2. So we could get a 3-3 draw. So
Could be a 0-0.
It could be fucking anything. None of us know. Haven't got a clue, have we? We haven't got a clue because we don't know what Tottenham's going to turn up, right?
No.
So ultimately, we haven't got a Scooby-Doo. What's going to happen? A lot's going to depend on what team he puts out. Is Solanke going to be back? Because he'll really want to play against his old team and show them. You know, is Kulu going to get back in the squad? Is anybody coming back from injury? Are they going to play as tired as they did in the last couple of games? It's a big ask. We don't know, do we? But all we can do is keep the faith, right?
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
I'll tell you what, Mystic Meg is spinning in her grave, mate, because she ain't got a fucking clue what's going to turn up, has she?
No, we don't know. We don't know.
We should have a bet. Let's have a bet. A pound. Come on, a pound a win. Hands up who thinks it's going to be a win. Right, that's £2 in the pot. There you go. So we can update everyone that who's got the more money in the pot as we go along.
Right, I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with that result.
3-2.
Let's see what happens. I'm praying that we. Listen, to be honest with you, what I really want is a great performance, a good, solid, decent performance, regardless of what the outcome is.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, we want to win. Chelsea obviously coming up at the weekend, which will be the bigger one. We know what generally happens there. The one thing I did say before we finish, I just wanted to put this out there because I thought it was a really good point, well made. I read it on Twitter, so it must be true. If we'd have drawn with Man City and beat Fulham, we'd still have the same points as we've got today, and we'd have all took that. Mm-hmm. So it's a good point, well made, and puts it into a little bit of context because none of us were thinking we were going to beat City, and everyone was thinking we were going to beat Fulham. We got a win, we got a draw. So out of all of those, if you'd have said, will you take a win and a draw out of those two results, most people would have said yes.
Yep.
So, you know, it is what it is.
Who knows?
Right?
We can do tomorrow night, though. Like, all we can do tomorrow night is look out for Tony in his orange coat in the crowd. That's all we can do.
Yeah. Listen, this is Tottenham Hotspur. We've been doing it the hard way since 1882. That's why we're called Spursy, which we all hate. But listen, that's it for tonight. An hour and 8 minutes. We've rambled on. Thank you to everybody who's been in the comments, all those that have been watching off and on. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. It's great again to speak to you boys. You always make me feel good. I always have a bit of a laugh afterwards. And I'll be at the game on Sunday. Mason's not coming, but his mate McLovin's coming instead. Dino's going to be there. Sweary Alex is going to be there. We'll be in LTs, and I'll be wearing something very, very special just for Alex. I'll see you all there, and we'll leave it there. Up the Spurs.
Go on to Tottenham.
Good to see you, boys.